Look at this landscape. It's Joshua Tree National Park at dusk. Imagine renting an isolated house out here, surrounded by miles and miles of pitch-black wilderness. You step outside into the cool night air. Over by the pool, you hear your friend violently coughing. You start walking toward the sound to check on them. But as you get close, you hear footsteps approaching from the driveway, the exact opposite side of the house. The person walking up the driveway is your friend. They're perfectly fine. They're completely oblivious. Which means whatever was waiting out by the pool in the dark was perfectly mimicking their exact pitch and cadence. The most terrifying predators in the wild don't announce themselves with roars. They use the familiar sounds of the people we love to bait a trap. This exact survival scenario appears in folklore all over the globe. The Navajo warn of skinwalkers, and Algonquian traditions describe the Wendigo, entities possessing the uncanny ability to perfectly imitate human voices. They rarely mimic aggressive sounds. Instead, they replicate cries for help, a sobbing infant, a desperate plea, or simply your own name called out into the trees. If a massive animal charges at you, your instincts tell you to run. By imitating someone in distress, the predator bypasses your physical flight response entirely and targets your psychological programming. These monsters succeed by weaponizing our strongest biological drive. They exploit human compassion. If you do follow that sound into the woods, eventually you catch sight of the source. It starts as a silhouette of a deer, but then it slowly stands up onto its hind legs, moving with a jerky, unnatural rhythm. This matches the Appalachian folklore of the knot deer. It's an entity that looks mostly like a normal animal, but the joints bend the wrong way. The anatomy is broken in agonizing ways, and the eyes face forward like a predator. We see this same camouflage strategy in modern digital folklore. Take this image of a normal outdoor emergency siren. The internet legend of Siren Head imagines a 40-foot-tall monster that folds itself into this exact rusted shape to blend into rural environments. Whether ancient spirit or modern creepypasta, the encounter always features a visual glitch. The mimic's disguise fails just enough to look profoundly wrong. Spotting that glitch triggers an immediate, paralyzing dread. It is an entirely different biological sensation, and far worse than encountering a normal physical threat. Cognitive scientists call this phenomenon realism inconsistency. It is the biological mechanism driving the Uncanny Valley effect. Over millions of years, human evolution has hyper-trained our brains to instantly recognize normal human geometry and standard animal movements. Seeing a creature that is 90% normal but 10% wrong lights up two different brain pathways simultaneously. One categorizes it as safe, the other as an unknown predator. This clash generates a massive prediction error, effectively short-circuiting your brain's processing centers. This error response is a deeply ingrained threat avoidance mechanism. It evolved specifically to make us recoil instinctively from diseased bodies, corpses, or dangerous genetic anomalies. The freezing horror you feel during a mimic encounter is your own brain's alarm system breaking down because it cannot categorize the monster. By the time your brain finally processes the glitch and recognizes the deception, the ambush is already complete. In the stories of the Alaskan Kushtaka, victims are lured to the edge of rivers by the sound of crying children, only to be dragged into the freezing water to drown. In the Philippines, creatures like the tikbalang and aswang imitate trusted guides, deliberately disorienting travelers and forcing them to wander endless loops in the jungle until exhaustion overtakes them. In every regional variation of the legend, the tactic is identical. The victim is successfully separated from their group long before the physical attack begins. The physical trap is devastating, but the psychological realization of betrayal right before the end is the true horror of the ambush. Standard monsters stay hidden in the dark, but a mimic actively invades the safety of the human pack. As a social species, the human voice has evolved to be our ultimate instinctual marker of safety, trust, and community. A monster that steals that voice forces us to doubt our own senses and fear the very people we love. For centuries, global folklore has offered a single piece of actionable survival advice for dealing with voices in the wilderness. The next time you are alone in the dark and you hear a loved one calling your name from the trees, do not answer.